Welcome back to Wikilert.
Today, the pulsating heart of house music has lost one of its most soulful architects, a voice that turned club floors into sanctuaries and tracks into timeless sermons. The devastating news broke just hours ago, on September 22nd, 2025, that Ron Carroll, the Chicago-born DJ, vocalist, and producer known as the Minister of Sound, passed away at the age of 57. No cause of death has been disclosed by his family or representatives, leaving the global dance community to grapple with the shock in a quiet that's louder than any bass drop. Tributes are already pouring in from fellow artists and fans who've felt his gospel-infused grooves in their bones, from Deontay Pennington's heartfelt Facebook post, "The news we just received just broke my heart," to echoes across Europe's club circuit, where he was set to perform at Amsterdam dance event next month. Ron wasn't just a collaborator or a hit maker, he was the preacher who made house feel holy, blending raw emotion with electronic fire in a way that lifted spirits from underground warehouses to worldwide festivals. As we process this sudden silence, let's take a soulful stroll through his life, the anthems he left us, and the quiet joys that grounded a man whose voice reached millions. Ron's rhythm started in the gritty pulse of Chicago's South Side, where he was born. Ronald Michael Carroll on November 11, 1967, into a world where gospel choirs and street corners birthed the house sound that would define him. Raised in a family steeped in music, his early days singing in church choirs that honed his preacher-like timbre, he was a teen fan of rock's Kiss, but a high school dance changed everything. Watching a DJ spin records flipped the script, pulling him into the late 80s club scene, where he opened his own spot and started spinning. By 1993, he dropped his first official track, My Prayer, produced by local legends Hula, K-Fingers, and Ron Trent, a raw plea that hinted at the soulful powerhouse he'd become. Picture him there, a young Chicagoan behind the decks in smoky basements, his voice rising over 4 on the floor beats, turning personal faith into communal catharsis. It was the early 90s when he linked with Greek-American producer Spiro Pagos, forming MS Productions for the UC/After Hours label, and meeting Motsi Namvar, who bridged him to Europe's hungry house scene. From those roots, Ron built a bridge between the Windy City's warehouses and the world's dance floors, his nickname, the Minister of Sound, born from that commanding, sermon-style delivery that made every vocal feel like a revival. What truly elevated Ron, though, was his alchemy, fusing gospel's uplift with house's groove, creating tracks that didn't just play, they preached, healed, and united. His 2000 breakout, Lucky Star with Superfunk, was a club clarion call, sampling Madonna but infusing it with his soaring pleas that turned it into a global anthem. Then came Back Together in 2003 with Hard Soul, a deep, driving cut that rebuilt broken hearts one drop at a time, and the euphoric What a Wonderful World in 2004 with Bob Sinclair and Axwell, a joyous rewrite of Louis Armstrong that became a festival staple, its message of wonder cutting through any crowd. Over 3 decades, he lent his golden pipes to over 100 releases, collaborating with electronic titans like Eric Murillo, Ease Move, Maurice Joshua, and Rod Carrillo, while running his own Body Music Records label from 2001 onward. Imagine a sweat-soaked Ibiza terrace at sunset, Ron's voice booming. Rise up, over swelling synths, strangers linking arms in a moment of pure, shared transcendence. He wasn't chasing charts alone, it was the connections, the way his music bridged Chicago's underground to Asia's mega clubs and Europe's endless summers, that made him a fixture, touring relentlessly while staying true to his roots, always giving back to the scene that birthed him. Beyond the booths and the breakdowns, Ron was the steady soul in a whirlwind world, a man whose warmth matched his wattage. He kept his personal life close, but those who knew him spoke of a quiet family anchor, devoted to his loved ones, often sharing glimpses of home-cooked meals or lazy Sundays away from the decks, recharging with the simple joy of a good vinyl spin. As a label owner and mentor, he'd pour hours into emerging talents, his advice laced with that preacher's wisdom. Music's about lifting, not just dropping. Off stage, he was the guy organizing Chicago block parties or quietly supporting local youth programs, turning his success into seeds for the next wave. His faith stayed woven in, a thread from those church days that colored every lyric, making house feel like home for the lost and the searching. Financially, Ron lived with the grounded grace of a scene lifer, his net worth likely settling around $3 to $5 million by the end, built from royalties on those enduring hits, DJ residencies across continents, and label earnings that kept body music humming. It wasn't private jet excess. He poured it back into the music, studio upgrades, artist advances, or those transatlantic flights to connect with fans who became family. Compared to pop's megastars, it was modest, but for Ron, wealth was the echo of a crowd chanting his name, the quiet satisfaction of a track that outlives the night. There are so many vivid vignettes that capture Ron's light, the ones that make his dimming feel like a power outage mid-set. Collaborators recall how he'd turn a late-night session into a gospel improv, his laugh booming as he'd ad-lib lines that sparked magic. Or that time at a Berlin warehouse gig when he paused the mix to pray for a fan in the crowd, turning the floor into a circle of strangers holding hands. Even in his final weeks, he was hyping AD on socials, his posts full of that boundless energy. See you on the dance floor, let's make it holy. Tributes today echo that spirit. Eric Murillo's team, sharing old booth pics, captioned "Minister Forever" and fans flooding X with "Lucky Star" loops. One viral clip of his live vocal over Sinclair's drop racking up millions, a digital wake of beats and tears. As we bid farewell to Ron Carroll, it's his voice that lingers, a sermon unfinished but eternally uplifting. The house he helped build will throb on in every remix, every sunrise set, every soul he touched with sound. To his family, his Chicago kin, his global collaborators like Hardzol and Bob Sinclair, and the dancers who've found grace in his grooves, our hearts ache with yours in this sudden quiet. May his wonderful world wrap around you now. If Ron's soulful legacy and this heartbreaking hush have you queuing up a classic or holding the dance floor closer, please give this video a like and subscribe for more stories of voices that made the night eternal. It keeps the music moving. Thanks for being here. Rise up out there.